What's up, you beautiful Redditors? Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Welcome to the RNEWS Evening Show. And let's just jump into it. From r/politics, a national nightmare, whoever owns Trump's enormous debts could be running the country. Russia and Saudi Arabia have entered the chat. Don't forget he owes millions in debt to China, which comes due in 2022. That's why they keep accusing Biden of being pro-China. They always accuse the other guy of what they're trying to do. Yep, it's almost always projection. Yep, it's almost always projection. It's uncanny. I mean, it really always is a projection. Trump literally doesn't have the ability to talk about anything that isn't related to him. He just can't, so he has to find ways to use stuff about himself to spit on his enemies. They only get ideas by reacting. Notice how many Republican slogans are weak imitations or deliberate perversions of Democratic slogans. So when somebody says, Trump owes China a lot of money and could be controlled by them, they get the idea to accuse Democrats. Do you mean slogans like Notorious ACB? They are such scumbags. There is no level too low for them to sink. There is no humanity in them. We already know who owns Trump's debt. Vladimir Putin by way of Deutsche Bank. Thanks for the goal. We have zero evidence Trump can pay his debts, and far more that he can't. The people that own his debt less than Russia greater than own him. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/World News. Geneva voters agree to $25 minimum hourly wage. Meanwhile, we have FL who is voting on a $10 min wage, and Republicans are losing their goddamn minds. That's $20,800,000 a year if you work all 52 weeks. $10 per hour, in 2020. Visit Switzerland, $25 an hour. There is $10 here. Seriously. Yes, housing is 70% higher than in the US. Cost of living is 89% higher. Probably averages, which is much broader in the US. I'm not sure it's fair to call it apples to apples between a suburb of Bern, for example, and Gary, Indiana outside of Chicago. www.google.com. That's Switzerland on average. Geneva is expensive even by Swiss standards. Switzerland is expensive though. They're the highest ranking on the Big Mac Index. Edit. Screenshot of the first part of the list. Because paywall, second part of list, final part of list. $470 annual paywall to even read this. Am I confused, or is that freaking insane? You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/politics. With 200k dead, Trump spews lies then golfs for the 298th time during his presidency. I'm going to be working for you. I'm not going to have time to go play golf. Donald J. Trump, August 2016. TrumpGolfCount.com cost a taxpayer about $140 million. You are forgetting the $300 taxpayer funds he took from the CDC and redirected for his latest COVID PR campaign. When will he be held accountable? It's just so weird to listen to Trump supporters scramble to define exactly what draining the swamp was after this presidency. Draining the swamp has always meant less Democrats to them. I'm not very good at math. Help me out, math nerds. But does that mean he has golfed approximately 23% of the time he's been in office? If so, that's freaking crazy. I know legitimately retired, well-off people who freaking love golf and they don't even do it that much. This is just embarrassing. Man, he looks bad in golf clothes. I'd say he resembles your username. That's 20%. A fifth of his presidency has been wasted playing golf, not passing legislation, following on promises, but actively doing nothing productive for a fifth of his presidency. I wish it was 100%. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/News. Fred Perry stops selling polo shirt after it becomes associated with far-right group. Announced it would no longer be selling the item in North America and Canada. First of all, Canada is in North America LMAO. Second, if they're going to keep selling it in Europe, then eBay sellers are going to love this move. Nothing like importing a European-made shirt to display how much you love Amavica. I'm guessing most Proud Boys won't fit into European-sized clothing. You'd be surprised. As many as are grossly obese. There are also many that are twigs without an ounce of muscle. Meth isn't really great for keeping weight on, after all. When you body shame a fascist, but you're also body shaming every comrade who has that same body type. Let's focus less on how their shirts fit and more on how their rampant misogyny, racism, and xenophobia are forcing companies to change their product roadmaps. Oh, you mean 40 years ago? Fred Perry shirts have been worn by skinheads of all kinds as part of their uniforms since at least the 1980s. TheOutline.com. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/World News, a Uighur woman who was at risk of being forcibly sent back to China and detained has arrived safely in the US. Frick China. Frick the CCP. I agree with this because just saying China could be misconstrued with the people of China instead of the government. This woman will simultaneously be welcomed and also runs the chance of being blamed for coronavirus and insults hurled at her. Welcome to the USA. I'm sure she is more than willing to deal with this chance than living in a camp. Edit. Wow, thanks for my first gold. You mean like the camps at our southern border where women are being forced into hysterectomies? Wait, is this the CCP's China? That's really weird. It won't let me comment on the top post. All I said is China is very pretty. Especially Tiananmen Square. I was there in 1989, very strange. Nothing happened there, right? Yep, your daily Xinjiang-related US propaganda on Reddit. Edit. To all the people who call my comment CCP propaganda. Do you guys remember the Uighur woman who did IAMA on Reddit? Who was later exposed to be working for CIA? www.reddit.com. Remember, GOP's official policy right now is don't defend Trump. Blame China. It must be a coincidence. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/Politics, Biden campaign begins selling "I paid more income taxes than Donald Trump" stickers. What pisses me off? As a teacher, I can only deduct $250 of out-of-pocket classroom expenses. This dude gets $70,000 for haircuts. Edit. 1. Holy crap, so many messages in inbox. I love you all. 2. Yes, I can actually only deduct $250 for in-class expenses, which this year was buying a computer to teach with. 3. Gold. Boom, thank you. That's awesome. Gonna use my newfound fame to say this. If you have a kid in school, please be on the lookout for depression and anxiety right now. I'm getting lots of students with the impending doom feeling they can't get rid of. If you have any questions, email their teacher. They should be willing to help. This dude gets $70,000 for haircuts. Imagine your haircuts costing $70,000 a year. Yet your hair looks like someone making cotton candy for the first time. They all need 330 million of these. Pretty sure everyone has paid more in taxes than the fake billionaire. Sad when a 13 years old on their first job can claim that. Normally this tax thing would be a nail into a campaign's coffin. With the orange clown, we just call it a Monday. The freaked up thing is his supporters will go along with all this bullcrap right up until they are put on ventilators from catching coronavirus at one of his pro-racism rallies. And that's where we're going to end today's show. But if you like what you saw, leave a like, and if you want to see more of the RNEWS show, hit that subscribe button. As always, this has been the RNEWS show and I'll see you tomorrow.